Hello, Shalama, peace, in the name of Maria Alaha, Joshua Mishika, or Jesus the Messiah. Okay, I thought I'd do this short video. I'll try to keep it as brief as I can. You probably heard in all my videos I mentioned the name of the translator of the supposed original ancient Galilean Aramaic manuscripts, the New Testament into English, Victor Nimrud Alexander. And you may still be wondering, who the heck is that guy? Okay, so what I decided to do with this video, because I came across a biography he wrote on his, I think it's his grandfather, on IMDb. Okay, it's quite lengthy. I can leave the link if anyone's interested at the bottom of this video. It's just basically to prove that he's a real guy. Doesn't really talk much about himself, but it leads up to him. I think it's mainly about his grandfather. Okay, Nimrud Alexander biography. Nimrud Alexander was a pioneer of modern cinema. He began making movies in 1909. The first actress he worked with was Louise Brooks, which happens to be SAG-AFTRA actress Liv Alexandra's grandmother. Yeah, she's like a Norwegian and redhead. Yeah, I watched a few of her Star Quest videos and stuff. Yeah, she's not too bad, considering she has a Norwegian accent, quite a heavy one. She does very well. She got an award apparently for her acting. Okay. Yeah, Liv Alexander's his wife. Okay. Nimrud Alexander created the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. His career as a film producer was mostly with promoting his fashions, jewelry and perfumes from New York City, Hollywood to Paris. He created the Oscar Awards. Well, I didn't know that. The Oscar Awards they get, the nominee is. Yeah. He in fact stood on a stage and had a sculptor build the Oscar with clay on an armature. Nimrud Alexander knew all the early movie stars such as Douglas Fairbanks Sr. and Douglas Fairbanks Jr. He knew Mary Pickford. Nimrod's father was John and his grandfather was Malik Kambar, a Jewish merchant from Istanbul, Turkey. He sent his grandson money and encouraged him to work with Jews in the garment district of NYC. Okay. Nimrud Alexander came to Southern California and encouraged the Jewish clothing brands to come to sunny California and make movies without artificial lights. The first film stages were nothing but four walls with an open ceiling where sunshine came through without incurring electric bills. Later they placed silk screens to soften the light. Some of the early pioneers of the silent cinema were Charlie Chaplin and Max Sennett, silent movie guy with a big mustache, yeah, real funny. Nimrud Alexander encouraged D.W. Griffith to come to Hollywood, one of the greatest film directors. He was to do a film about the sack of Babylon. It was the first 5-reeler or a 2-hour feature film. All movies were shot on 35mm motion picture film. As the discovery of oil in the Middle East during mid-19th century finally made it possible for automobiles and transportation to become of major importance, and then there were the ships and airplanes that used oil and gasoline. World War I broke out over the oil wealth of the Middle East. At this point the Ottoman Empire became the target of the Western Allies, probably because they had all the oil, the English-speaking people, Great Britain and the United States. Nimrud Alexander had amassed a great deal of wealth from selling movie rights. He had sold RKO Studios. Wow, isn't that the one where on Rocky Horror they climbed the RKO radio tower? Wow, I didn't know that. Okay, he had sold RKO Studios to Howard Hughes for $50 million. He knew Howard Hughes Sr. also in the drilling gear, which was essential for reaching oil wells deep under the surface. The drill was self-cleaning. At 18, Howard Hughes Sr.'s father passed away and Howard Hughes took over his father's fortune. Nimrud Alexander was asked to prepare the nation for World War One, and as a first CIA director, he wrote the manual on how the Central Intelligence Agency was to operate. The US industries such as Kaiser Industries were transformed into factories for building tanks and armaments. World War I broke out in 1913 and would last until 1918. However, Nimrud Alexander held the US troops from landing Europe to bring WW1 or World War I to an end until mid-1914. The US lost 58,000 troops during World War I, and by 1919 the US economy was in shambles. The automobile industry led the way to the recovery the recovery of jobs, but by 1929 the stock market would crash due to the losses of World War I. The American people struggled and succeeded into becoming the richest country in the world. Nimrud Alexander concentrated now on movies and building major studios in Hollywood. In the early 30s, sound was introduced and movies became talkies. Many vaudeville showmen and singers became movie stars. Hollywood studios proliferated, and soon the major studios were putting out 10,000 movies per year, all combined. Nimrud Alexander combined his fashion shows with the early movies, as hundreds of beautifully dressed extras paraded past cameras, so it was hard to tell who were the movie stars and who were the fashion models. In 1939, the world European countries were struggling to keep up with the US, but could not manage to even come close to the lifestyle of Americans, what with the Atlantic Ocean separating the US from Europe and the rest of the world. Nimrud Alexander was pressed into service as a CIA general. As Nimrud Alexander had no Assyrian heir, he was extremely perturbed and decided on a course that would make him very unhappy for the rest of his life. He picked the family of Eliah, Enwiya, Isaac and Soriah, Yochana, Malham, living in Russia at the break of World War II, where Stalin had agreed to fight against Hitler, the Nazis and the fascists. Nimrud Alexander married Margarita Isakova and took her out of Russia and sent them to Iran, where they came from. Margarita's father Margarita's father Eliah was in prison because he had refused to register as a Russian citizen because he did not want to become a communist. The family was exiled, and Isaac would not be able to rejoin his wife and children for 1 full year. Nimrud Alexander, the youngest son of Dr. Alexander Pinchas Malik, Kaba of Gua, Turkey, proposed marriage to Margarita, and Soriah, her mother, gave her in marriage to Nimrud Alexander, as he knew that the son of Dr. Alexander was Presbyterian and connected with the Americans, as Dr. Alexander was the proud graduate of the Castle College of Missionary Doctors in Urmia, Iran. When Margarita was about to have twins, she sent the news to Nimrud Alexander while World War II was in progress. Nimrud Alexander came and took her together with Nimrud Alexander. Neither of the two men knew whose twins the children Margarita would bear. Victor Nimrud Alexander was born in San Francisco on May 7, 1943, just past midnight, but Margarita knew that Victoria, the sister of Victor, was probably not viable. She gave her an overdose shot of morphine. Victor was delivered with his feet first, which was unusual, and his mother noted it as such. As World War II was in progress, Victor was taken to Kirkuk in Iraq and left with Vatohi, the third wife of Dr. Alexander, who was Armenian from Yerevan. She had been rescued by Dr. Alexander because during the genocide of the 2 million Armenians of Turkey, Dr. Alexander felt it was his duty as an American missionary to do so. Vic Alexander grew up in Iraq, never suspecting that he was born in the United States. Although it sounds tragic, yet ultimately it was to his benefit to grow up as a member of a minority in Baghdad, Iraq, because he grew up never to depend on anyone but himself. and as his mother, Margarita Alexander, never told him that he was born in San Francisco, he became self-reliant and used all his faculties to excel at whatever he got involved with. Nimrud Alexander passed away in Baghdad, Iraq at 1948 when Vic Alexander was 5 years old. As a CIA man, Nimrud Alexander saved some important people from Germany and brought them to the US. He brought the German Lutheran rocket scientist Werner von Braun to the US, and he was the scientist to put a man on the moon when President John Fitzgerald Kennedy wanted to do it. Nimrud Alexander also brought Marlene Dietrich, oh wow, out of Germany. Wow. He helped Hedy Llamar, I heard of her, get movie roles in Paramount Studios. She had escaped out of Nazi-occupied Austria, where her father, uncle and husband perished in concentration camps, but she and her mother made it up. Gal Gadot portrayed, isn't it that latest Wonder Woman? Portrayed her in a movie and was nominated for an Oscar. Gal Gadot was married to an Israeli businessman by whom she has two daughters, which is proof that Nimrud Alexander did not have an affair with Hedy Llamar, because if he had, and Gal Gadot was his daughter, she would have had twins with her first husband, Vesano. Okay. Nimrud Alexander knew where his son Vic Alexander lived and did everything to make his life adventurous, which was a curiosity that boggles the mind. Nimrud Alexander spent the years of prosperity loafing around with such friends as Errol Flynn and the major movie stars of the 1950s. He financed many movies and made a lot of money, but in order that no one should exploit his heir, he left his son Vic Alexander nothing that could be discovered by thieves. IMDb mini biography by Victor Alexander, or Vic Alexander. Wow, that's amazing. He's a brilliant man then, to become self-sufficient and do that all himself. Okay, I had some questions for him because, I found all over the net he was going on about his father or grandfather being the first director of the CIA. Okay. Yeah, Nimrud Alexander was asked to prepare the nation for World War I, and as first CIA director, he wrote the manual on how the Central Intelligence Agency was to operate. Okay, because this person here supposedly, being the first director of the CIA, then suddenly left and did this Hollywood silent movies, and apparently he was saying all over the net, certain places, Victor Alexander, that it wasn't so much Hitler that was involved with that mass Holocaust. It was a guy called Dr. John something, either the son or the grandson of the Elephant Man, okay, and the Queen Elizabeth II, and somebody else. Can't remember who it was. Maybe the second guy. Yeah, it's Dr. John, and then the Queen, and apparently is it Merkel? Germany's Chancellor Merkel. She had that guy executed, but obviously can't touch the Queen. And apparently it was all financed by the CIA. So I was trying to get hold of him to verify that. He hasn't really put it here, but he has put the information that his father or grandfather was first director of the CIA, and then he left obviously and did fashion and silent movies and got really well known. Okay, rubbing shoulders with many of the old celebrities like Errol Flynn, Howard Hughes, etc. Okay, even Hedy Llamar. Wow. So I try to get hold of him, contact him and ask him, but I don't know if he'll really expand on it. He has done other articles, as I said, all over the internet, but unless I get the interview of him, from him, and it comes out from his own words, well then, it's just hearsay. So that's a little history on that's way over here. That's a little history on the translator of the original Aramaic New Testament, Victor Nimrud Alexander. Just sort of put that out there. so you know that he's real, and a bit of history of what he's been through and what led him up to be the self-sufficient translator of the Old Testament, Assyrian Aramaic, Lashana Artika, Sapriya, Kitab Eshrat, Old Testament, right, from Genesis to Micah, or Malachi, or whatever he's done, and the Galilean Aramaic New Testament, right, from the original manuscripts of the Church of the East. Okay, this is a translation I've got of his. Okay, and I resurrected his website, which is down for some reason. Okay, and that's what I'll be bringing to you in all of these videos. So if you liked that, hopefully that was pretty short, 15 minutes, 20 minutes long, then please subscribe to our channel, and give us your likes, add your comments, and go tell all your friends about this Aramaic translator, and go have a look at his video. Put in YouTube the Aramaic scriptures, and it'll come up the story of Adam and Eve, which is a typo, right? And then it'll tell you about how he translated the ancient Aramaic, Syrian Aramaic, the Shana Artika Brita, or Genesis in English, right? Okay, it's a whole video on it. Okay, and then that will verify what I've been saying about the Brita or Genesis in English on my videos. Okay, and you can see that he's like speaking some sort of language. It's Aramaic, and he's looking at some sort of book reading from it. Those are the original manuscripts that he purchased from a high priest of the original Church of the East, right? And yeah, he's speaking the Aramaic from it. Okay, it's in Bible format. Okay, catch you later. Thanks for watching.